just the food or milk or the cow, also from other animals.
Yeah.
And why do we say, go on?
I was just going to say that, you know, in fact, one of the temples I have recently spoken to, you know, I won't mention the temple name because I don't want to shame them, although I am tempted to, but I won't. You know, one of the temple leaders, who is himself vegan, is trying very hard to get the other committee members in the temple to go vegan. And the one thing that is stopping the rest of the temple from going vegan, the response is that when we know what the suffering of the cow is, so they are aware of what happens, but their belief is that the minute they offer the milk to Krishna, the cow will go to a better life. So they actually think that despite the suffering, if they still offer that milk to Lord Krishna in the temple, they are doing the cow a favor. And it is this really illogical way of thinking that they are trying to help the cow in the next life, but actually ignoring the suffering of the cow in this life. And there's this also misunderstanding of the scriptures as well, which is why, you know, I've had to consult, you know, Vedic experts, monks who are so well versed in the scriptures in Hinduism. And a lot of people have this huge misunderstanding of what the scriptures actually say. And the scriptures do not actually promote the drinking of milk. They actually see the cow as sacred. The drinking the milk or using the milk is secondary. In fact, we should be protecting the primary, which is the cow. But through misinterpretation and through culture and tradition, this has all been lost. And if people actually went back to the core base, the fundamentals of the Vedas, the Upanishads, the Bhagavad Gita, they would realize that actually compassion prevails amongst all of it. And in fact, if they saw what the realities are now, it doesn't matter what the scriptures say about milk. Even if it does talk about milk, compassion must be applied before we start using milk. And if compassion is applied, we wouldn't want to touch the milk.
Absolutely, because ahimsa is at the core of every religion, or we say ahimsa paramo dharma. That means ahimsa is the first or the foundational religion. Right. Or it's a religion, or compassion is in every heart. It's our first duty.
Right.
So if we say from compassionate point of view, then there is definitely a lot, you know, to discuss about how milk is used in prasad, in diya. As soon as I turned vegan, the first thing I did was to stop, you know, lighting the diya with ghee. That was the first one. No way. Because I started seeing pain everywhere, pain of an animal, her tears, their little drop of ghee coming out of a lot of pain. Right. No way. I don't even want to do that much party or participate in this process. Right. You know, you have made a very, very wonderful video of a Vedic scholar from, I think, Switzerland. Right. You want to tell us more about him and what conversations you had?
Yeah, so his name is Acharya Ji, and he's a wonderful, wonderful man. In fact, the way I met him was, I think it was earlier this year, I was invited to be an expert witness on a talk. And the talk was about Hindu Dharma and animal rights. And sharing the platform with me was Acharya Ji. And we both spoke at quite some length on this platform. It's on the YouTube video is on my channel. And he spoke about Hindu Dharma whilst I spoke about animal rights, and we joined the two up. And then since then, Acharya Ji and I have kept in touch, and he has been a huge help in explaining to me what the scriptures say, what they mean. You know, really sort of dissecting the true meaning of some of the verses and the stories and the similes that are used about the cow, and how if the rishis and the sages that wrote these scriptures thousands of years ago, in essence, they saw what the realities of what the dairy industry was now, what would they write? And, you know, it's a rhetorical question, because of course you and I know exactly what they would be writing. But underneath all that, the foundation, the message has always been to be compassionate, to be loving and kind, and not just to human beings, but to sarvabhuta, to all beings. And that's the message. That's the message that I have to keep reminding people when I speak to them, that this extension of ahimsa, an extension of compassion, which we adhere to in our scriptures, must be extended to every single being, which includes the cows, the calves, the wildlife, the insects, everyone.
It's like saying that everyone is equal. There's no one who's superior, and everyone has the same love for life as you have.
Right.
And that we are fully connected. And if I ignore pain of an animal, then I'm ignoring really my own self, because there's no separation between them and us.
Right.
Yeah, because we are connected completely.
Yeah,
so
whatever you're doing to them, you are doing to yourself, ultimately.
Absolutely. The biggest example is that we kill them, we eat them, we take their milk, we give them suffering, and come back the same thing to us in the form
Right.
of all the big diseases that we never saw earlier. I
Right.
totally know that as soon as the patients give up the dairy products, there are many big diseases start reversing, and
Right.
it happens even faster than they ever imagined. So this is a law of karma that's coming in. As soon as you start stop giving them pain or being the party to the whole thing, you get liberated.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think even beyond that is this very simple message for me, which is that even if we did not benefit, even if our health did not benefit, even if our karma were not affected, it doesn't matter. I mean, these are living beings that have a right to life of their own. And whether we benefit from it or not, whether our health benefits, whether our next life benefits, whether our next circumstances benefit, even if they do not benefit, the least we owe them is to leave them alone and to stop exploiting them, whether we benefit from it or not.
So there are two steps, Dina. One is to just leave them alone, or say leave and let live. So there's another step that says that we have reverence for all life. We respect all life. As much as I respect my life, is also we respect and we honor every living being on this planet. What's
Right.
a typical day like for you, Dina?
A typical day. Wow. Every day changes. So I know you introduced me as a lawyer at the beginning. I am a lawyer, but I left my practicing law last year. I will tell you a little bit about why I left practicing as a lawyer. It was a day when I was feeling quite unhappy about where I was working. It was in the corporate practice of law. And I remember taking a phone call from a farmer. And the farmer said to me, Dina, I want you to help me extend my farm. And I asked him what he had on his farm. And he said he had cattle. He had a beef farm. And he wanted me to help him through all the planning regulations to help him extend his beef farm. And for me, that was the day I realized that I couldn't do this job. And the following day, I decided that I wanted to leave. And so although I am a lawyer, I do not practice anymore. Instead, I teach at university. So I teach part-time at university. I teach law students. And then the rest of the time I dedicate to doing my activism. So I travel all over the country giving talks. I have a range of different talks that I give. The main one is on the dairy industry and why being vegetarian is not enough. I also give talks on the vigils that we hold outside the slaughterhouses. In fact, I have some pictures that I can show you about that. And I do a lot of campaigning on the streets. So I will arrange campaigns